All right, everybody. What's up? Back with the pre-show with AMIT before these guys get in here. VITALY's definitely not making it tonight. He's busy with the kids, I believe. Carlos and KRIS should be here soon. Tesla and Netflix is the subject for today. And, well, let's just say my hair is crazy right now, bro. My hair is absolutely crazy. By the way, we're streaming this in HD. So you guys should be able to see full high definition HD. I upgraded the thing today, so it should be full HD. The mic's being weird. Oh, it's because it's not plugged in. That's important. Okay.
Yeah, now it should be good. Should be good now. Your voice ain't HD. Okay, it should be good now. These guys should be here in a second. Tesla earnings obviously didn't go too well. I'm pulling it up right now. There's a clip by Gene Munster I wanted us all to watch together. That kind of sums up what's going on. Oh, Farzad's still live. Is he talking about it? What's Farzad saying? I was gonna go live, but I got really busy today, and yeah, it just wasn't. I was just like, I got some other stuff to do. But obviously, the results were not that good. Let me know in the chat if you own Tesla. If you were waiting for a dip, you got a dip. We'll see tomorrow how the market reacts even worse to it. 233.41. It's down almost 8% on the day. So $21. This has been the biggest drop I think we've seen in Tesla in a long time. 254 down to 233. It's down. It's definitely down. So that was Tesla. We'll obviously talk a lot more in depth in it. And then Netflix somehow shocked the world. I did not expect Netflix to have the quarter they had, but they had a hell of a quarter.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. Just been in and out of training all day today.
Dope. So I'm going to play this clip, let everyone get caught up. You can get caught up with it as well. This is Gene Munster talking about what happened at Tesla earnings, and then we can discuss it, and then we'll get into it.
Gene, I don't know if anything's happened yet. The stock is really not doing too much, and I'm wondering how you assess the quarter. There are hits and misses here.
More misses than hits, Melissa, in this. I think you need to really section this into the near versus the long term. The near term, there's no sugarcoating it. This was a disappointment. The central metric was automotive gross margins, X credits. That was 16.3%. Missed the street at 17.6, down from 29% a year ago. This is the central metric because this is where the story hinges on. Is this a car company or a tech company? So they missed that. That trend is not a friend for Tesla right now. Second, they talked about slowing production of Model Y, production growth of Model Y. And third, the miles driven by FSD came a little bit below what I had expected. I expected greater than 600 million. They did 520, up from 300 last quarter. When you put all this together, as I said, I think that this was a disappointment. I'm surprised that the stock is not down more. I think the reason is that volumes are going to pick up in the December quarter. That should be positive for margins. And I think investors are expecting on the call that's going on now for them to talk about margins improving. So we're waiting for that. And I did not answer your question, Melissa. What's happened in the call so far? In the first 3 minutes, Musk came out. He's big into AI. He described it as a massive game changer relative to FSD and how that can kind of change the world. And so it's funny, he's not talking about margins. That's not usually his forte, but it's all about what they can do in AI and FSD.
Yeah, the stock is moving around a lot. Just as you're talking, Gene, we saw a low of down 1.8%, and now it's down by just about 1.25%. In terms of those, I mean, I thought that hitting the annual number was the hit in the quarter, given the Q3 delivery miss. But you're saying that is not enough. It's all these other things that make it just disappointing here.
If on the wager, there's 3 negatives, we outlined them. There are a couple positives. The biggest was that 1.8 million. So they're going to have a record quarter in terms of deliveries. We're enough through the quarter. They probably got some good visibility on that. So that's clearly a positive. And second is Cybertruck is going to be out. It's coming out November 30th. This is going to be positive for Tesla shares. And they don't have to sell many of them. They just have to ramp from 5,000 maybe this year to call it 150,000 next year. And I think investors are going to start to see that having a measurable impact on delivery growth. And I just want to highlight that delivery growth. I led with the negatives here. It is directionally a negative quarter, but they grew deliveries in the quarter at 28%. The rest of big auto in the US grew at 13%. So they 2x what the rest of the industry is doing. Usually they do more than that, usually 3 to 4x. So that's a little bit of a softening. But either way, they're still growing much faster. And I think when you put this together in the long term, I think traditional auto is in a tight spot from
All right, Chris. I don't know how much of a chance you had to run through the numbers. Stock is down almost $20 after hours. Thoughts on the quarter?
I was in training all day, so I have no clue what's going on with
That's what I
Tesla.
expected.
You know, I
That's
mean,
what I expected.
I have a full-time job outside of analyzing, stocks all day. So I was doing that. There were some sectors that I was trying to pay attention to, but today was just not a day that I was like keeping my eye on the ball here. So there were some after hours reports that came out that basically just showed that there is some material weakness in like the economy. And I think a lot of that stuff is gonna just come to a head, So we'll see what's going on. Today, a lot of the comments from I think some of the Fed chairs weren't exactly very bullish either. A lot of it was.
Let's talk about that, and we'll relate it back to Tesla. So the 10-year hit 4.9 today, got actually really close to 5.
Yeah.
Jerome's talking, I think, tomorrow, and then you mentioned some stuff that happened. Why did the market tank today, in your opinion, if you had to give it a guess?
I would just say that 10-year, man. Everything's relying on that 10-year treasury. So all the numbers are pointing towards higher for longer. And so a lot of people are just saying, screw this. And, there's just not as much demand for treasuries. So the price of the treasuries are going higher and higher. And so I think there's actually some shorting on the treasury side as well. So that could be something to just quickly watch out for. So like I said, I didn't get a chance to really fully digest everything because I've been in trainings all week this week. So we'll see.
Yeah, the 10-year right here, as we're seeing it, 4.911. Definitely an emergency, 911. That's tough. That's tough to see it, especially when we were at 4.5 just a week to go. Imnop in the chat says it was the earnings call. Elon didn't sound happy about life, like he just lost his dog. He did start going on a rant about work from home. I don't know what triggered him to do that, but he started complaining that people like you, Chris. He's like, you guys are assholes. He literally said the word asshole, and he said you're elitist from working from home and you don't care about everyone else. And it was really
today?
weird. Today on the earnings call, yes.
That's interesting.
And
I mean,
as Blake said, it was a depressed call. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I work overnight, man. That's like one of the things that one of the privileges of being a guy who covers overnight 11 different places. Sometimes you have to make do with some employee demands. I mean, not everything. Like if you want to hire the best people, you got to give them a little bit of something to keep them happy, right? So as long as they can maintain a high level of productivity, I mean, work from home shouldn't be an issue for those people. But I don't know. I mean, there's certain industries where you do need that one-on-one camaraderie where you're working hand in hand in the trenches. And if you're not working hand in hand with in the trenches, then you might be missing out on things, and there may not be enough, I don't know, social cohesion to build a team and all the other stuff that's out there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And
But go ahead. Sorry.
I was just
No,
gonna. I was gonna say I think it speaks to why the stock fell is because he was so annoyed with the numbers or just wasn't happy. He started ranting about random shit, and then investors were just like, "All right, you're just being a baby right now. We're just gonna sell it even more."
Yeah. SLG was down too because I don't know. I thought the numbers were actually good. They had leasing activity was recovering pretty steadily. They're almost at 90% leased up. I think some of the comments tomorrow we'll see. They even guided higher. So SLG didn't exactly make a lot of sense in terms of like why it got sold off. So we'll see what happens. I think this goddamn 10-year is really fucking with us. But this is where you have to ignore the noise. You have to look at the data, and the data is pointing to. I work 70% of home and I bust my ass. Yeah, and I would say the data is pointing to a massive amount of disinflation and possibly even deflation next year. So, the 10-year can scream all at once. All these people can do whatever. I'm looking at the numbers and I can already see shelter, which is a large component, one of the largest components of core CPI, is going down like crazy right now. And all those numbers are lagging. So I'm not particularly worried right now.
Yeah, and again, I think SLG did really do well in revenue, but they reported on one of the worst days apparently in the market for the 10-year to jump close to 5% if they're going to
Yeah.
report on that day.
Yeah. I mean, no one can predict it. That's just, but this is where opportunities come, right? When things are oversold, that's when you buy them. Like, I actually told my brother to take some of his SLG, sell it, and buy some Google instead, and just be in like the safe havens.
Google is
You know,
unchanged. Like Google
huh?
just stays that way. Like Google, none of this is affecting. Like every day I look at my portfolio, Google's the only green thing that I see. Which is
Yeah, well,
hilarious.
I mean, Google just has so much cash flow. Like the Magnificent Seven, as they keep calling it, they're fine. Like they don't have any issues with debt. Like they're not highly levered. Their business models aren't necessarily impacted that much by higher interest rates. So most of them are fine. The question here is going to be around like, is the Fed going to? I don't know. I don't know how the Fed responds to this, but all the data that I'm seeing is pointing towards disinflation. And I think maybe to some degree they think it too. Otherwise, like the comments that they made today early in the morning when I did get a chance to see, which was around higher for longer, maybe they wouldn't
Mhm.
have made those comments. So
Mhm.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how it ends up turning out. Kelly says I should buy a separate portfolio just for the shit I buy because KRIS said so. If you guys want to check out his portfolio, KRIS is on Savvy Trader, so you guys can see the actual stocks that he has, and you could also just join his Patreon.
I'm not a fan of the Savvy Trader because you know what happens? Like if you make a move on Savvy Trader, everyone like hits you up on the deal. Why'd you sell? It's like, bro, just and then you have to explain to like everyone why you sold. And it's like I feel bad for not explaining it, but I also just I don't know.
You know
I,
the
I'm
problem? The
I'm
problem with the app, that app is made for legitimate traders. Because if you buy and sell
yeah
every day, no one would hit you up asking you about it because you're a trader. You don't care. But you're not really a trader. You're an investor that is opportunistic. So if you buy a company and then decide to sell it a week later, people get super confused, right? So I think Savvy Trader
yeah
is more for like the day traders that want an audience. But the problem is it's hard to
yeah
build an audience as a day trader because you're not doing anything interesting when you're just day trading. You know,
yeah yeah.
you can't really build loyalty with an audience if you're just day trading shit all day.
I'm like right in between a day trader and well not a day trader but a trader and an investor where I look for opportunities and then once the opportunities get maximized and I see the fair values there, I'm like, okay, time to dump it, move on to the next thing. But each his own.
Okay, let's move on to Netflix. Earnings per share 373 versus 349, so they beat on that. Revenue, they just came in at the same 8.54 billion. And membership, they added more members, 247 million versus 243 total members, so they beat by about 3 million. Here's a little bit of coverage on that, and we can talk on that.
Netflix. Let's bring in analyst Rich Greenfield, the co-founder of Lightshed Partners, who's been listening into our conversation. So, Rich, let's first, if you can walk us through sort of the technical aspect of the quarter, and that is the big pop in ad revenues and then the inline in overall revenue. Can you sort of walk us through that math?
Look, I think the reality is Netflix is focused on growing average revenue per member. They call it ARM. It's basically ARPU in every other company. Doesn't matter where the revenue comes from. I mean, they're offering an ad tier now. They're telling you about 30% of subscribers are taking it. For Disney, I think on the last call, they said about 40% of their subscribers are taking the ad tier. I mean, remember, Melissa, most people who have the moochers, who are the password sharers that are now shifting over, most of them are still choosing ad free. Like people are used to Netflix being ad free. They're used to Disney Plus. I mean, I think people like ad free content. You'll see more and more advertising based subscribers. It will take time. But I think the real message is here is investors shouldn't care where the revenue comes from, advertising or subscription, however it works out. The key is Netflix is now growing revenue, double digit. Margins are going back to 20%, generating $6.5 billion for free cash flow, while everybody else is literally running for cover, under pressure from activists, trying to stay alive, like cutting back on programming spend, trying to raise price dramatically to improve profitability. Nobody else is investing. I mean, it really feels like Netflix this quarter is running away from the pack.
So he's in the pants off camp. Yeah.
It's off, yeah.
Yeah. But so it's Karen, thanks for being on today. Obviously you've been very bullish. You had a big number, big target rather, going into this print. How do you get there? How do you think about how to value this business?
I think the reality is you're seeing it, right? They are dominating. I mean, they're almost at 250 million users globally, and they're just getting started. I mean, they still only have 40 plus million-ish subscribers in Asia. That number is going to be hundreds of millions over time. So there is still a tremendous amount of long-term runway. But I think the big news today, I mean, I know everyone's focused on earnings, but that really is the smaller story in my mind. The big news is John Lasseter, the chief creative officer of Pixar, who's created almost all of the films that you, your family, and friends love, is now working long-term with Netflix. Skydance Animation has moved its animated films over from Apple TV Plus to Netflix exclusively for years and years to come. That is animation is the one category Netflix has not done a good job in. And I think they would admit it. This is a huge, bold move. There's two animation companies, right? There's Disney and there's Universal. Universal has certainly taken that crown over the last few years. I think it would have been unimaginable to put Netflix in the same category as Disney and Universal Illumination from an animation standpoint. And I think.
Any thoughts on what he said there? Netflix up 12% after hours. Looks like they killed it.
Yeah, I mean, I told you yesterday, right? Like the Netflix would be the last subscription that I cancel because there's just so much, like such good variety of shows on there, and because they're profitable, they're able to, they're taking their scale right now to another degree and basically saying, listen, we will just license your content. If it's good content, we'll license it. And right now, the other studios are so hard up for cash, they're willing to license some of their best stuff to Netflix, which means that people are getting. But you know what's funny? I think that this will actually help Disney and help Paramount and help Warner Brothers, because what Netflix
Why?
is doing.
Because that guy sounded bearish on everybody else.
No. So Netflix is blazing the way in figuring out how to actually monetize the content. Okay. So when you look at it, all the moves that Netflix made that you would have thought maybe would have sank them, right? Like the crackdown on password sharing. Did that really sink them? No, it actually helped them grow, right?
Yeah.
So Disney did the same thing. Disney right now is doing password, sharing, cracking down on that. Netflix rose prices like crazy, high prices. Like Netflix is one of the most expensive things to get right now, the ad-free version. But the consumers are buying it up. That means that the other companies are like, hey, wait a second, we could probably charge more too. So, when it comes to people, yes, they are willing to pay for quality. So right now, Netflix is providing quality, and they're doing it in a way where people are just beholden to keep subscribing to them. And right now, I think the other companies are doing the same thing. So I think Netflix is blazing a trail for the rest of them to get to a point where they're all getting back to like profitability. So I think they'll get there. I think the profitability is right around the corner for Disney's DTC business. So I think that should be a major catalyst going forward. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I was surprised, man. I did not expect them to have this great of a quarter. And it was really because I thought they were lacking on content this quarter. But I guess they got more subscribers, and they figured out how to find them, even if they were under the actor strike and they weren't able to really push out that much content. I think your biggest point about the consolidation of all these other platforms, and like you said yesterday, the type of AAA movies that are on Netflix, it's just insane.
Yeah. The one thing I will address though, someone is like, how often do you watch Netflix? Not Netflix, sorry, Disney. And I don't think that that's the right way to look at it. That's the thing with a lot of exclusive good stuff. So here's an example. When Ahsoka came out, I'm like a huge Star Wars fan. Clearly everyone knows that, based on the big. I am going to subscribe to Disney to watch Ahsoka. now they've got the Acolyte coming out, which is going to be another thing. And then they have like another thing of Andor and like all these things come out, but they've segmented them in a way where it's like, hey, every month I need to have Disney Plus because my next show is coming out. Like right now I'm watching Loki. I love Loki. It's one of the better shows that's on there. So even if I don't watch Disney like 24/7 all the time, even if it's just one show, I need to have Disney Plus in order to watch that one show. So I'm gonna, be basically paying the cost of Disney. So I think a lot of people do think if you're not waking up in the morning going to Netflix and you're going to sleep with Netflix, that means that you don't need a Netflix subscription. It's like, no, even if you're just watching one movie or one show, people have that. And so I don't know.
Okay, guys, we're going to put the link in the chat in about 10 minutes, and we're going to have some people join. Obviously, Carlos and Vitaly tonight couldn't make it. Carlos working late, Vitaly also with the kids. But Chris, before we do that, you want to react to some drama?
What drama?
I feel like we got to react to this drama. This is hilarious. So, Meet Kevin tweets, leaked photo of Elon Musk on today's Tesla earnings call. Trying to be funny. And then Elon Musk blocks Meet Kevin.
That's funny.
That's kind of crazy, bro. Meet Kevin has supported Elon for years. Like, I mean, he's been one of his biggest groupies. Elon in 2022. I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means. Elon blocking is very hypocritical, but go ahead.
There's a saying, you either die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and so like if you think about it, as days go on, Elon is becoming more and more like infamous. So he's picking up his fair share of haters, and at the end of the day, Musk is still human, man. So no one wants to see their company not do well. I mean, especially with everything that the guy does, like for the world, basically. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, Elon Musk is like the greatest thing on the planet. But at the same time, I'm not gonna say that this guy's achievements haven't like brought forward entire industries. So
this is funny though.
It is kind of funny.
It's funny because
funny.
Kevin hasn't tweeted for days. This is like the first tweet he puts out. He wasn't even live tweeting the Tesla earnings. But if he didn't tag Elon, I think he would have been fine. He tagged Elon. And because he's a big account, Elon, it popped up in his feed, right? The algorithm gave it high priority. And Elon was like, you know what? Fuck this guy. I don't give a fuck. Even though this guy is, he's really helped Tesla maintain its brand. I mean, this was the most influential YouTuber in 2021 pumping Tesla. Elon said, I don't care. He's gone.
He's not gone. He just blocked them. That's all.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't want to see Meet Kevin's bullshit. That's all. I mean, he didn't like kick him off the platform. I mean, he could theoretically, if Musk really wanted to go like, super evil, he could just say, okay, fuck this. Meet Kevin no longer allowed to be on X. He didn't do that. He just blocked him and said, look, man, this guy's too annoying. So I don't know.
But hasn't Elon said he will never block again? Yeah, I mean, Elon, I think we all know Elon's a hypocrite, but I think that's part of his genius, right? It's hard to be a genius without being a little hypocritical. So
yeah. So what are some highlights of the Tesla call that because I didn't hear it, so I don't know. Like what were some of the highlights?
Dude, that's the problem. There were no fucking highlights. Like energy is not doing as well. Automotive margins came in worse than expected. EPS missed by like 8 cents. Like, this is why everyone's saying he sounded depressed on the call. Like, he started off the call talking all about AI and FSD and all the progress they're making in AI. And he was trying to avoid the gross margin question and just kept pumping up AI. It's like, we have the best AI team. It's the most phenomenal AI team. And the analysts were like, yeah, but we want to know about margins. And that's why it was a bad call, because they didn't have an answer to the bad margins. I mean, free cash flow went to hell. That is also true as well.
I mean, at this point, we can kind of deduce very quickly that the impacts of the Fed raising interest rates are starting to be felt all in every sector, right? Like, I wonder what end phase this shit is going to look like, actually, now that I think about it.
Dude.
If people are not buying cars, bro, I don't know about solar systems. So we'll see. I mean, it's down. It was down 4% earlier, and now it's down another thing in after hours. So I wonder what their earnings are going to look like,
After this call, I wouldn't imagine it looks amazing. Let me get, Chris, what is your response to this comment that is a traditional bear comment. Jed says, I think it's also one of your Patreons, Elon likes to compare himself to Henry Ford, but guess what? Competition caught up in Ford is an afterthought. FSD is not what it was promised. Robotaxi is a myth, and robots are, well, 10 years away. Now, this comment sounds good today because the stock sucks after hours, but do you think this comment has any merit to it long-term for Tesla?
I mean, some of the stuff that Elon brings up are very like pie in the sky, but I mean, this is the same guy that landed a rocket vertically. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I I don't know, dude. I don't know. A lot of stuff, a lot of things have come around, and he's really proven things wrong. Like FSD is a real thing, but I do think that the timetables that he usually puts out are a little too ambitious, and so a lot of people end up getting frustrated at that. But that's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to shoot for the moon, man. You're not supposed to be like, you know what? We're a little less mediocre today than we were yesterday, and let's just live with that. Like no, like this guy makes monumental leaps towards progress. So what can you do? You just have to respect that and go from there. But I do think that Jed is right in that the FSD thing is, kind of like it's
I
still
don't
going to take a
it
long time
it's
before
gonna
that
take a
comes around.
while. I don't think that's coming
Yeah.
soon.
Robo taxis, like there's cruise cars in like San Antonio, I think right now, or and like San Francisco. So, so that's those things are coming around. And then this whole thing with the robots, I'm not a fan of the robot situation anyway, so we'll see.
Well, okay, so
We'll see.
the Optimus Prime though, if he does pull, well, yeah, I forgot. Whoa, shout out to John. Thank you for this, bro. $50 super chat, most underrated channel in the space. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
We're trying. We're
We're
trying.
trying. Chris is carrying the
Yeah.
channel on his shoulders, so we're appreciating it. Do you think there is any truth to the robots being factored into the multiple Teslas getting today?
No.
There's
It's just
nothing around Optimus, even though they've shown it at the events and all that stuff. No multiple expansion on that today at all.
no, not yet. Not yet. There's no revenues. There's no, there's nothing to it right now. No. I think more interesting for Tesla is going to be just around the electrification part of it. Like how much more are you expanding on the electrification, and then you're able to get services revenue. Like I'm due to buy a car next year, and it's probably going to be a Tesla Model Y. I already looked at it. It's the only reason why I haven't really pulled the trigger right now is because I don't need the car. Like my wife's Lexus is fine, but eventually we're going to do that, and then like we're going to buy a house. So a lot of people's buying decisions have kind of been put on hold for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're not moving around a lot in terms of like buying a house and all this other stuff. Usually when you buy one thing, you buy other things like adjacent to it. So I think that is a limiting factor. And right now, just overall economic slowdown is starting to impact us, and these high rates are not good, man. Like go ahead, try. I was talking to one of my friends who's a realtor, and he's like, dude, buyers have just pretty much dried up. And you're seeing all sorts of price cuts everywhere in housing,
For
especially
houses,
here in the
buyers are drying
suburb.
up for houses.
Yeah, because bro, to qualify for like an 8% loan in this day and age, you need to have some serious income behind you in order to qualify for a home that was like 2 years ago, almost like $300,000 less. Like this is the problem that you're having. So most people are just not in the market to buy,
Wait, so explain
Should you
that.
still
Mortgages at 8% means why do you need to have a significant amount of income for the bank to justify giving the loan?
Yeah, because just think about it. Okay, think about it mathematically. Okay, if you have a $500,000 house with a 3% mortgage, that is a much lower mortgage that the person is going to be able to afford, right? Because like let's say the monthly payment ends up being like, I don't know, with taxes maybe like $3,000. With an 8% APR, you're talking about maybe $2,000 more per month.
Yeah.
So where's that person supposed to come up with that money? So there's only two ways that you can really fix this. Number one, lower interest rates so that people can buy homes again, right? And number two, the price of homes have to come down significantly. I think it's probably going to be a combination of both. So we'll see.
Yeah, that is tough. I saw the headline today at 8% mortgages. So do you think then that means that 8% is a tipping point for it to actually fall down, or like something to break, as the realtor is saying, or could it potentially go higher than that if people are willing to settle for that 8% mortgage?
I mean, I don't think there's a lot I don't think there's a lot of people that are willing to do an 8% mortgage. Like you really have to price your property pretty low. Like you have to give some serious price cuts in order for that to happen. But I think that's the key, right? Where the people who have the optionality of just staying in place, they're staying in place. There's no immediacy for them to buy a home, especially at a 3%, 4% mortgage. Even if something happens and their lifestyle changes, they're not going to sell, because there's no way that they're gonna move to another place and pay 8% mortgage. So like imagine yourself, you live in an area and you have a $500,000 home, and that $500,000 home has a 3% mortgage that you took on or you've refinanced into, and then you lose your job. What do you do at this point? Okay, number one, you could find another job, but let's say it's maybe 100 miles away. Would you drive 100 miles a day to stay in that mortgage? Believe it or not, there are actually people that are doing that. They're willing to drive 50 miles one way, 50 miles back, just to just to stay in that same home. So it's kind of nuts to see like where we are in all of this, and it's a lot of it has to do with like the Fed breaking everything, and now they're probably going to break housing again. We'll see.
It is going to be really interesting to see what happens. Do they do 50-year mortgages anymore? Is that a thing?
No,
No,
I
it's
don't
not a
know.
thing.
I don't think they've ever was a 50-year mortgage. There's like 30 years the max here.
Dad says to qualify for a $1.3 million house with 20% down, you need 200K income. My sister and her husband just bought one with a 7.5% rate. It's $8.3 thousand monthly dollars for the mortgage.
Yeah. It's nuts, man. It's really nuts. And the thing is, like, because of the lack of inventory, a lot of people not putting homes on the market. The people that did put them out, they were able to command some really high prices. So there's a big supply and demand problem. And the issue is, if the Fed starts to lower rates, that's going to cause more people to put homes on the market, which means that we could see a massive correction in housing. I know that sounds like a
Well, you've been saying this for a
no-
while. You've been saying this is coming.
yeah,
You've been
yeah,
saying
I
this
know.
for a few months.
I know. We'll see what happens. But dude, housing is turning. So I think next year, right now, everything that's happening, everyone's screaming about inflation, bro. Next year, probably Q2, everyone's going to be screaming about disinflation and deflation. And then the Fed is going to have to act.
Yeah. He also says KRIS is going to be a lot of homes soon on the market to Airbnb bans. I think you talked about this a while ago. Like if that could be a massive catalyst as well to help some of that stuff come down. Okay. Quick thing before we move off of Twitter. They're testing $1 a year to post tweet. They're testing it in New Zealand and the Philippines this month. Do you think that's a good idea? You have to pay
No.
$1 a year to tweet.
No.
Why?
It's like you got people used to like a free service, man. And now all of a sudden you're going to charge people. I don't know, man. It's just the business model of Twitter is so broken right now. They're trying to extract value, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously think Twitter is an incredibly powerful platform. There was a report that came out on TechCrunch yesterday that says that Linda Yaccarino, the CEO, is absolutely lying about the traffic increase. They looked at like the data and they were like, the traffic is actually down 14% year over year on Twitter. So
yeah,
they're trying to market it like they're fine, but I don't really think it's going to be fine. Now, $1 a month also is not going to be, or $1 a year, you're not going to be verified either. It's literally, Elon says to stop bots if you have to pay $1. But I'm like, if you're going to create a bot army, you'll pay $1. All right. Like, it's just,
bro, all that stuff is BS, man. Like okay. Do you see bots on Facebook
no,
and Instagram? Do you see
very
a lot of
rarely.
bots just here?
No.
So how can they do it and these guys can't?
Well, wouldn't the counter argument be that the nature of Twitter is susceptible to bots, given it's a communication platform? Facebook is a friends and family type of platform.
No, Facebook. What about Instagram?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You know, there are patterns that you can use to detect bots. It's not a hard thing to do, believe it or not. So there are bots on Instagram everywhere. I'm sure there are. Just I haven't noticed them though. So
Yeah, I mean there are bots, but it's probably not as aggressive as Twitter. I think the reason people do bots on Twitter is because if I can make 1,000 different accounts that like say one thing, like we're seeing on this Israel-Palestine situation, we're seeing a ton of, you can tell they're bots, whatever side they're for, tweeting under the post to try to give it more visibility. And it's as simple as making an account and just saying whatever propaganda you want to say on whatever side.
yeah.
And
Dude,
Twitter
YouTube
allows
has
that.
YouTube has a ton of bots, bro. There's like I don't know. You ever seen the bots talking to each other?
Yes.
That shit
Hi,
is
can
hilarious.
Linda solve your financial problems for 45,000? It's like
Yeah.
they really think that's
yeah.
going to give them discovery, and I'm like, I don't know if that's going to help there.
I mean, and pretty sure it's somewhat successful. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep doing it. So
And this is why this matters for Tesla shareholders, because the dude has $13 billion of debt on this social media company. And if he has to sell more Tesla to finance that, which I think he believes in Twitter's mission more than Tesla sometimes in terms of free speech. And he's proven, he'll sell to be able to finance it. Then that might end up affecting Carla.
I'm kind of looking forward to listening to this Tesla call now to see Elon like cry a little bit. It's just to be a hilarious thing to see, man.
Dude, when he started going, I think the work from home question, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think the question was connected to robo-taxis and how like there's not that much demand for that if people are working from home, or in general, people don't need to buy a car if they're working from home. I think that was the macro question. And then he just got pissed off and he was like, look at all these assholes working from home. Do your service workers work from home? Do your chefs work from home? And it was just like, if the stock was up, he would sound like this visionary dude, but like the stock's tanking and you're complaining about people working from home. Yeah, it's just, it didn't feel like the right time to be doing that. Do you think Amazon stock will go up on earnings with everything that's going on? What do you think about Amazon?
You know what? I don't know, man. I think maybe I thought I knew what was going to happen this earnings season. I thought earnings would be strong for everyone, but the exact opposite is happening. And it kind of sucks to see because, everything that leads into the certain direction, like all the figures, all the numbers, they're speaking to like a certain, it gives you like this false sense of certainty. And then when the numbers actually come out, it's like, poof, it's like a smack in the face, So I don't know, man. I have no idea. I think the interest rates are starting to bite the consumer. So if that's the case, then maybe sales are going to be down a little bit on Amazon. But Amazon right now is pivoting from a growth, more like growth model to like more value. Not, I wouldn't say value, but they're trying to improve their margin significantly. So we'll see what happens with regards to that. So like AWS will still likely be a grower for them. Their advertising revenue that they're getting that's high margin, that'll be there. Their third-party services business, that'll be there. So I don't think the revenue part is a problem for Amazon. I think the margins are going to be the more important thing to look at. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think Amazon's going to be really interesting because that FTC lawsuit is not going away. I mean, it's still there. I don't think the FTC has the best chance of winning it. But if they lose that lawsuit, or if they continue to put pressure on the stock because of the lawsuit and the earnings numbers maybe are not horrible, but are not the best, and you got a 10-year that's inching at 5%, much less goes to 5% by the time they report, it's going to be tough for a lot of these stocks to end up doing well.
Yeah.
Why are you guys talking about Harry Potter in the chat? Dude, do you like Harry Potter? Do you watch that movie?
My wife loves Harry Potter. I bought all the Harry Potters, specifically for the wife. She watches it like once a week. Like she'll just put on one of the movies. Yeah.
On what platform?
Amazon Prime. Like I said, I bought it, so she just tunes into it. Like it's her like happy place. So if she's like doing any work or anything, she just puts on Harry Potter. I mean, she must have seen it like 150 times. I don't know what. Whatever. She just loves it to death. Yeah.
Is there a show like that you watch all the time or no?
No,
You go back
I'm normal. I'm a normal person. I mean, I'll watch a couple of things over, but not like that. You know, like here's an example. Like I watched Top Gun like the new one that came out like 3 times. I
I
loved
still
it.
haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it. I
You
gotta
haven't
watch
seen
it.
Top Gun?
No.
Man, that was a good one. That's a really good one.
Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
Good morning, gentlemen.
You got the 5 o'clock shadow voice, everything. You just
Bro,
woke up, right?
bro, I don't know how we're gonna do it, Carlos. I don't think we could survive this fucking overnight shift, man. I feel myself dying on the inside.
Bro, it's absolutely brutal. Like that's my wife calling me to tell me to get on the podcast. Hold on.
My wife does the same thing. Like literally, it's like, why aren't you on the podcast? I tuned in. Like, oh, come on, honey.
Dude,
leave
my
me alone,
girlfriend does
man.
the exact same thing, bro. She's like, get your ass on the podcast. I'm like, all right.
You're like that guy. What was that shit with that movie where the guy kept saying, it was that fucking movie. God, I forgot.
So
the name
I'm
of it.
so happy you forgot it.
Where he talks about his parents as his roommates. Remember that? He's like, my roommate's this, my roommate's that, and it ends up being, it's the one with turd nuggets. Fucking
I don't know this movie. I don't watch any movies, so I don't know.
It's the movie about the video game. What the hell was the name? Somebody in the chat help me out. It's a little too early.
Tron. I don't know. That's
No,
a video game movie.
no, it was like oh man, I forgot the name of it. Let me look it up real quick.
Anyway, you probably didn't catch the earnings.
Grandma's Boy. Yeah, Grandma's Boy.
Grandma's
I caught a little bit of it, and I actually caught a little bit of like your take on it. I heard you talking just now. Like, man, you have Tesla and Elon Musk so.
I didn't say anything. I was reading a comment. I didn't say anything. I was literally reading
Here's what's
Jed
funny.
Luke's. I read Jed's comment. That's it.
No, you said some stuff too.
What did I say? I don't even remember what I said.
I heard it as I was like brushing my teeth. Something about Elon Musk caring about freedom, caring about Twitter more than Tesla.
No, I said at some moments he acts like he cares a lot about. The context was he might have to sell Tesla to pay the Twitter debt because he cares more about freedom of speech than Tesla.
Twitter's gonna IPO again. They're gonna re-IPO it. It's starting to make money. 90% of the advertisers came back. Like,
dude, they want to charge people $1 to tweet. That doesn't sound like they're making money.
Okay, you're saying even the way you're saying that is just reeks of some sort of a bias. I would prefer that they charge people $1. I would
but
prefer
Carlos, you know people are not going to fucking pay to use.
That's what
that,
everybody
bro.
says. Listen,
no, it's true. This is consumers don't take out their credit card for lack of value.
Okay,
dude,
okay.
All my friends think Twitter's a dead app. Like I'm telling you, on the ground, my friends are like,
because
you're on Twitter.
And your friends are the canary in the coal mine.
No. My friends are the average consumer. My friends are the normal person that posts.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack. I am a little tired and I'm a little cranky today, so I don't mean to like jump down your throat, but you got the guy all wrong. And you're also, I was actually just talking about this with like somebody that I was working with just now. Like, I don't think you understand how important some of the stuff that Elon Musk is doing, and I don't think you understand like even the acquisition of Twitter and how important that was. How much the platform has changed from what it was is not even visible to you right now. You're not even aware.
I gotta stop you there. I love Twitter. I'm the biggest champion. I hate fucking threads. I hated the censorship. My only problem is when you do this, you alienate a lot of the former business model, which means
it's fine. Honestly,
it's hard to become profitable. That's my only point.
It's fine. It's fine because the old business model was not only not profitable and it wasn't sustainable. That wasn't the business model.
I agree.
The business model of Twitter before was literally just to be a censorship and misinformation, disinformation.
I agree.
Arm, of the government in that sense. So he's turning it into the actual business that it was supposed to be. And there is, I mean, I don't know about you. I still am getting a problems with bots. With people hitting me up. It was just too easy to create bot accounts. And unfortunately, if that's what it costs, if it's $1
to be honest,
a month,
to be honest, Carlos, it's kind of like a disinformation machine right now too. I mean, the government's not saying anything.
It's not a disinformation
it's just
machine.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, no, it definitely is, bro. It definitely
is.
Give me an example of how it's a
disinformation
vehicle.
I'll tell you, like this Gaza bomb in the hospital thing. Like first the Hamas people, the Palestinian side of Twitter comes out and says, "Hey, look, the Israelis just bombed a hospital and 500 people are dead. Right. Kill all the Jews!" Everyone was pissed, and then an hour later, the Israeli military comes out and says, "No, we didn't
That's
do
not
it
true, yeah.
because our bomb, it was the bomb didn't land, we had no aircraft in the area, so it's not us. Hamas did it." And so all the Hamas
you're saying-
apologists are now
okay,
going.
okay, but
So
what you're-
now I don't know who to believe.
okay,
That's
what
the
you're
problem.
doing is you're classifying people using the app a specific way as the app itself being a vehicle for disinformation. Twitter is not striving to be the arbiter of truth. They're not looking to call balls and strikes and say this is true, this is not. They're looking to be like a public utility, in the same way that AT&T is a public utility. The telephone is a public utility.
You don't see.
I
the
get
danger in
spammed. I
that?
get spammed and robocalled all the time, and people are selling me bullshit. And people, I never complain to AT&T because they're just the pipeline. They're just literally a platform. It's a town square. How people use it is a different story, and that's what he's striving for the app to be. So yes, there's people that are using it to put out disinformation or to publish a narrative that's promote narratives that aren't true. The combat of that is other people putting out the correct narrative and setting the record straight. The reason no social media company is going to be able to in real time detect what is true and what's not and be able to stop any of that stuff. That's the problem with it. These companies pretend like they can and that they should, and they shouldn't. And honestly, if Meta, for example, were to say we're going to move away from the ad model and we're going to charge everybody $1 a month or $5 a month, whatever it is, to use our app ad free, you get a better experience. They'd be able to focus on the user experience instead of trying to squeeze every bit of data out of everyone so that they can sell to advertisers who can then remonetize you to make even more money. They would be able to just create a good user experience. That's what these social media companies started out as. And now they've just become grossly like corrupted for the need to monetize the users.
Why did Elon block Meet Kevin today?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't read about that.
So Kevin tweeted some stupid picture at him and he blocked him. And to me, this is the problem with Elon. Again, I love Elon.
Elon is a regular person. I think people don't think that Elon is.
Yeah, but bro, you can't be like, I love free speech and then block people that tweet a meme at you. Like the dude tweets memes.
You're misusing the term, but you're misusing the term free speech. Free speech means you can say whatever you want.
Blocking someone is literally the definition of not.
It's not.
Speech.
If they deplatformed him, if they didn't let him have an X account, that's not free speech. But Elon saying, I don't want to see this guy's stuff on my feed. Just get off my feed.
But so then why did Elon criticize other people who block other people? Like, that's what I'm saying.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't. What he's saying is he doesn't think, and I agree with this. He's saying, I don't think blocks should be forever. I don't think they should be forever. Even me, if I block someone, I think that after 6 months, it should be.
So then why is he blocking someone? That makes no sense.
Because he still has the right to. But the fact that you interpret it as if it's somehow being hypocritical to the idea of free speech. It's just, but it's not just you, it's everybody. He says he wants free speech on the platform, and now it's like everyone's job now to police Twitter and find the area where he's being hypocritical about free speech. He wants the platform to be open. He gets community noted. The dude said, put something up there and gets community noted. Could be even positive news about Tesla or even something where he's painting it a certain way and he gets community noted. That's how you know the app is working, where there is no bias. And that's the idea, is that the app disappears into the background and it's more about what people say. And you follow people because you want to hear their voice, right? You should be able to block whoever you want. I'm not saying you should. I don't think you should. I have a high threshold for what it would take to block somebody. But it doesn't mean that I don't have the right to. It's like robocalls. You have the right to block a number that keeps calling you, trying to sell you insurance or, a new mortgage. Like, you have a right. Hey, I don't want those calls. Thank you very much.
Okay. So do you think 233 is the dip, or you think we got some more pain? I know you haven't taken a look at the earnings, but it is.
I was catching a little bit of it, guys. I mean, the hardest thing about working from working at night is not that like the working from night thing. It's just the circadian rhythms. My body won't go to sleep. So I lay there and my brain just keeps spinning and spinning. Why
don't you just take some melatonin? That should knock you right out.
I don't want to do that.
It's not as simple, man.
I don't.
No, it is, bro. Take
my
one gummy.
Same thing. She's like, just go to bed, and I'm like, if it was a light switch, I would just shut it off. But I ended up actually doing a bunch of stuff. I actually just said, look, if I'm not going to be able to go to sleep, I'm just going to be productive.
Dude, melatonin will change your life, bro, and it's healthy. You can ask. I've consulted with doctors. It's a natural chemical your brain produces.
No. It's not the problem, dude. If you work overnight, you'd understand. Like, just take some melatonin, everything will be. It's not hard. It's not as simple as that, dude. And not to mention, 5 days a week, you work at night, and then the weekend, you're basically trying to get back into like normal mode. So what happens?
You're
go
gonna see
out,
in Vegas next week. Me and Chris are gonna
Yeah.
be at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna be like, woohoo! Let's
Yeah.
fucking party. You guys are gonna be like,
All right, it's instead of melt, even like some green tea, something to just help you go.
it
That's all
doesn't-
I'm saying.
It doesn't work.
Bro,
It's like me
I was-
telling you right now, go to
Yeah.
sleep right now, fall asleep.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I
It's not-
can't. Like, it's not my time to sleep. It just doesn't work. So that's what the problem actually is. But I was like, well, if I'm gonna be awake, I'm productive. I did some things around. I was gonna say, take 5 minutes after we end the stream today. I got to tell you a funny fucking story related to that. But I was just real productive, and then I just started looking through and reading some of the earnings, and I heard, okay, gross automotive margins were from like 19 to 17%, and that's what's tanking the stock. And like, this is the first quarter that it didn't bother me anymore. It did not bother me, the tremendous disconnect that we have right now between what Tesla's actually doing and how they're being reported. This is actually great because I don't have enough freaking shares. And at a certain point, all of these people that are talking about gross automotive margins are going to be buying the stock hand over fist, and I am going to be taking their money, and they're literally going to retire me. So I'm not pissed off anymore. Like I usually go off on Gary Black, because he's going to talk about the margins fell, whatever. I look at the voluntary compression of margins as capex. They are literally saying, what does it cost us every $1,000? And you know they have these conversations. Every $1,000 we lower the price of the Model Y. How many more Model Ys do we sell? Okay, let's say it's a number, 2, 3, 4%. Okay, that's 2 or 3, 4% more models that we don't have to advertise, because they don't need to advertise. We don't have to advertise them. And again, they are absolutely, it's the kill shot. I asked myself, what would it look like if I was a fly on the wall in a meeting, the higher ups of Tesla in a board meeting, trying to figure out how to crush the competition and say, well, we have 25% margins on our cars right now, and Lucid's losing 500,000, Rivian's losing 30,000 or 90,000, whatever it is per vehicle. How do we crush these guys? Just finally stamp them out. Okay, well, you kick them while they're down. Let's cut our margins 5%, 6%. Let's only make 17%. Because here's the deal. They're all rushing. What they need to stop losing money on their vehicles is to sell higher volumes. That's the only way they're going to be able to get the economies of scale to stop bleeding money. And if I'm making 25%, I look at it, instead of it being cars, let's say it was pizza. I'm selling fucking pizza. Instead of making 25% on the pizza, let me make 20% and crush everybody else, because they can't match me. They can't lower their prices as much as I am, because I'm making money. It's stealing the sales from people that might have otherwise bought a Mach-E this quarter. That Model S that is now $80,000 maybe got a sale from a Lucid customer that wanted that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when the Cybertruck finally comes out, we're going to see what the effect of is on Rivian and on Ford selling the Lightnings. So I'm looking at it like Tesla is looking at this voluntary compression of margins as like a capex. They're expending that capital. They're saying, okay, we're going to give up that money to get that customer in the door, because getting that customer in right now, first of all, we'll have a customer for life. I've tried to get out of the Tesla ecosystem. We're looking to buy another car. I've looked at all the other cars. I can't think about what to buy. I cannot find something that actually makes sense for me to buy. Now I'm in the Tesla ecosystem. It's like, once you have an Apple computer, are you going out switching? Once you have an iPhone, like your iPhone 15, are you going to, if Apple's got you, how hard is it for you to not be a customer? How much do they have to piss you off? What does some other company have to offer you? So this is a brilliant freaking move by the company. They are absolutely smashing people. And you've got, everybody's on strike. Everything's on strike. Interest rates are super freaking high. The entertainment business is up and it's on strike. The UAW is striking everywhere. They just hit Ford's biggest factory. Nobody has any freaking money. Nobody has any money. And all these macro effects are affecting the big three just as much as it's been affecting Tesla. But Tesla is still finding a way to be able to perform in this environment. Insurance or interest rates are ridiculous, man. It's really hard to finance the purchase of a car or a home right now. Not even
solar panels.
Even if you can afford it, the standard that you have to hit. This is one of the things that SoFi did really well. You have to raise the standards of the people that you are actually giving these loans to. They have to qualify or hit a higher threshold, because the interest rates are so high, and you're approving fewer loans, and you need to You need to not take that risk, not take somebody on that's gonna be delinquent. You're better off not. So it is so hard to operate in this environment. And understand something too, as they compress their margins and sell more volumes right now, they get the benefits of the economies of scale. What's happening is their overall costs are getting lower and lower and lower as they push more volumes, which means next quarter and the next quarter and the next quarter, they'll be able to sell them at, say, the same price and increase the margins. It's just hysterical to me how short-sighted a lot of these Wall Street so-called analysts are, or these hedge fund guys, or they don't understand the company. And honestly, it's the first quarter where I don't give a fuck. I'm not even going to challenge them I'm not going to tell them how they're wrong. Because I told you guys, I'm coming into a big chunk of change soon. I'm just going to keep buying the fuck shit out of that stock. And that's fine. When they eventually get it, they will retire me. And that's it. I'm done having the argument now. Even if it's a joke, I am done having the argument that they're Tesla's failing with bad management. They are fucking crushing it right now. This dude is absolutely crushing it. And my last point would be the comment that you had about him complaining about people returning to work. What was that comment you said before?
Yeah, he was basically calling them assholes and saying that they don't deserve to work at home, all that stuff.
Right. Well, I think Elon is really a blue collar guy. Blue collar workers don't have the luxury of being able to work from home. Like if you're a construction worker on the street, the idea of working from home, it's not even possible. I think he really resonates with those people. A lot of people that I respect are even in a white collar world, have a blue collar mentality. There's a certain pride in your work when you're a blue collar guy, when you lay pipe or you're a fucking plumber. And it goes back and forth. They have a certain disrespect for people who work behind a desk. They don't have any respect. It goes back and forth. But when you're that kind of a person, when you are out there, when it's not possible for you to do your job outside of the home, there's a certain pride that you take in that, for honest day's pay for an honest day's work kind of thing. And I think Elon is much more that guy than he is the white collar sit behind a desk guy. 100%. I think as much as production hell was for the Model 3, he enjoyed that. I think he enjoyed being there with the workers, figuring out problems. It was like what we talked about with you, Amit, the other day at Home Depot. And what Prakash, you read Prakash's response, how he was like, I had that moment where I had some time off and I said, fuck it, I'm going to fix this lawnmower. I'm going to figure out how to do it. He went to Home Depot, got all the parts and spent all the time fixing it. And he said, but the first time that I mowed the lawn with the new lawnmower that I fixed was a completely different experience. I think that's just something innate in men. And I think he resonates with that. So the idea of people wanting to work from home, the idea that earning an income doesn't require you to put in that honest day's work, out of the office, away from your family. Part of it is that sacrifice. I think that's what he was speaking to. But it doesn't mean that he's an asshole.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Your analysis on that is 100% correct. I think just the way he said it today, he was just annoyed at a lot of the questions, and it came out as a weird rant. But he's done this rant before a couple months ago on CNBC. So
he's done this rant before. If I'm going to be, look, I'm one of the biggest Tesla bulls. A lot of my network is in it. Net worth is in the company. But I'm fucking fed up with the Cybertruck already. Announced the damn
November 30th. They announced it.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Good, November 30th. Fine. I'm sick of seeing another fucking Cybertruck spotting. I'm done with it, dude.
Yeah, it'll be out. That was the highlight
out already. Fucking enough already. November 30th. Interesting. Okay. So did they say
they'll deliver one of them and be like, we did it?
Right. Yo, they better.
Bro, one of my friends texted me that he sees it out in Palo Alto. Huh? People are telling me they see it around the country in different areas. Yeah. I
haven't seen one out here, but I'm seeing more and more of those videos of these spottings of it. And that's a big, there's a lot riding on that for this company. There's a lot riding on it. It cannot fail. It cannot fail. It's not to say that it'll tank Tesla indefinitely or to bring the company down, but it cannot fail. It has to be right. Inbound, the wraps are ugly. Oh, to do that. What's ugly about the wraps it's basically just a blank canvas. I'm sure you've seen all those videos of people in Chicago getting their cars destroyed. Have you seen that with the protests? You haven't seen that?
I've seen the protests. I haven't cars were getting destroyed.
People are stopping cars on the street and destroying them.
Hey guys, I gotta head out, man. I'm literally
you gonna sleep?
I need to get some
knockout.
Yeah.
Let's end the pod here.
Down, bro.
Let's end the pod here. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow, Thursday. Thank you, everybody. Talk tomorrow.
Well, I'll talk to you for a few minutes. Don't hang up on me.
No, I was gonna stay with you after.
Oh yeah. We'll
Okay,
just
but
talk
I'm gonna
about-
end
we'll
the
just talk
stream
about
and then.
minutes.
All
We'll
right,
just
bye
talk-
everyone. See you tomorrow.
Wait. Let's finish this conversation. We'll just finish this one bit about the Cybertruck. Obviously, yeah, there's people that are destroying people's cars on the street. And the comments that I'm starting to see underneath it are, man, try that with the Cybertruck. Like you'll literally need a bullet.
Oh yeah, there's no way. There's no fucking way.
So a
It'll
lot is
run you
riding on this truck being a success. And I don't just mean like delivering the vehicles, but like people can't have problems with them. People can't have like service issues. You know, it has to be done right. It's very much the way like the launch of the Vision Pro has to be flawless. You can't fuck that up. It just has to be right. Make people happy, you know?
Yeah, and Tim Cook's in China right now because the iPhone sales are down 5% year over year.
So he's over there trying to.
He's
over there, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. he's got his jazz hands up. Oh, thank you so much, Edwin Leach. I enjoyed Carlos talks his nice voice.
You got a sexier voice than usual today because
that's my my voiceover voice. You know.
That's your voiceover.
Join Finance Junkies, and tomorrow,
dude, we're gonna have to figure out the pod because VITALY is for the next 3 months. He's gonna have a later time. You're getting busy. We got to figure out what we do with this pod.
My current project,
even 7 p.m. for me is becoming a little tough. You know, we gotta. And KRIS is fucking tired every day.
Would going back to the original time work for you better? 7 p.m. for me, 10 p.m. for you?
Maybe. It should. The problem is, I think KRIS starts work at night, and VITALY is to sleep because he has this. We gotta all talk about it. Figure out.
We'll figure it out. My current project ends on the 8th or 9th of November. So
it's coming up.
It's literally 3 weeks. So then that eliminates the reason why we moved it till 4 p.m. my time. So I then become kind of an open book. And we can figure it out.
Yeah, if you're an open book, it actually makes life easier, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I know. And Vitaly's gonna be he's dealing with what I've been dealing with now. He's not working at night, but he's gonna be dealing with like what I've been dealing with this last couple of months. It gets harder as it goes, but we will figure out a time. We'll figure out a time. I mean, I've almost jumped onto some of your morning streams because I'm like sitting here awake and I'm hearing you making jokes about like, and then Palantir going from 17 to $18 made me feel like wet as a squid, which makes me want to watch Squid Games.
No, let me tell the joke. All right, let's get the joke. The joke deserves the credibility it deserves. Okay, I said the Palantir price action is feeling like a game. But seeing it go from red to green gets me as wet as a squid that I should go watch Squid Game. Now, the level of sophistication needed to come up with that and then execute it in the way that it was done. Horrible. I did it in front of like 700 people today, and I don't think the reception was that great. I don't think those people understand humor. I don't think they.
No, I think it's like I don't think it's not all the people that don't understand humor. It might be you. Have you watched? You got to watch some of the greats. You got to watch the show.
I have. You got to watch Andrew Schultz, Dave Chappelle.
Look, Jonathan Luth is saying that joke was bad. It wasn't one of your best.
No, see, Jonathan doesn't understand humor. That's his problem.
What are you talking about? In that suit and tie? I think hell yeah.
Neither does Christian. You guys, dude. And I was talking about like shows on Netflix 2 minutes before I made the joke. So it was
I know. And knowing your take on Netflix,
yes,
another level about your overall thesis on Netflix. I get it. It was a multi-leveled failed joke, but
it was a multifaceted unsuccessful failure. I wouldn't say fail. Fail is a harsh term. Unsuccessful, yes.
But you know what I was going to say? I was going to say if you just replace the top of that with your mama, then you could actually be a battle rapper. Like that show Wildin' Out. Remember that show Wildin' Out?
Yes, I used to watch it.
So you go up there and people just start battle rapping. And I was like, maybe that's your real calling. Maybe you just need to be a battle rapper and like just start,
Dude, I want to do stand-up one day. Like I don't have the time for it one day. I think I can get a 15-minute routine that could kill. I think, and if I do, then I could get the 30 minutes in an hour. It's gonna take years, but
you only need to start with 5 minutes.
You only need 5 minutes, right? Yeah.
5 minutes. I mean, believe it or not. Well, maybe not for you, but for most people, talking for 5 minutes straight is actually it's a long time to have just people giving you their undivided attention. And so to be able to start a narrative with like, "Hey, I'm AMIT," and take someone through a story in 5 minutes, it's not easy, and that's why they start you off. That's typically what they'll give you as like a test right before they allow you to do stand up in front of an audience. But yeah, I mean, and it's one of my goals too. I have I think I told you guys, I have like a little document where I have jokes that I put up there.
Yeah, I have a little book where I write.
But it's like, who has that's the last thing I have time for.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do got a jet because I got to pick up the chick, the little baby. But thank you
All
guys
right.
so much for bearing with us. Seriously, it has been really rough for us lately to get everything together. Thanks for bearing with me, particularly. Sometimes I feel a bit unprepared because I'm tired. I know Chris is tired. Like we're texting at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Thank you for holding it down, Amit and Vitaly, for making it. If
We'll
and
figure it
when
out. We'll make this.
and
We'll figure this out. But
we
we
will
appreciate. I think
figure
we're
it
getting like
out.
350 people here every day, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, that's great. Help if and you guys helping us grow this thing is definitely incentive. Like I'm not gonna lie, I could have slept through the rest of this podcast. I totally could have, but there was a bit of like, it's not even just like I want to go there and talk shit. But I miss you guys. You know, I just miss having
Yeah.
the experience. It's a
Blue
nice thing to
collar
have.
in you, you know.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but it's kind of like I look forward to it too. It's just nice to have something outside of all of the other responsibilities in the day. It's like kind of like the gym. I'm taking this hour and I'm doing this no matter what every day. So
100%.
appreciate you guys so much.
All right, everybody. We will maybe see you tomorrow. I know Thursdays we've been skipping for the past couple weeks, but
No, we'll be there. We'll be there.
we
We'll be
should
there
be
tomorrow.
there, but we'll let you.
I'll
know
be there.
tomorrow.
We'll just talk shit about earnings. And then if you want, stay on. And then
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
talk
let
to
you know. All right, guys. Talk tomorrow. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys. So yo.